delight to be able to have a chat with both Harsh and his son Kumar. And both of them don't need any introduction. Sumedhu had in the morning done an informal introduction, but owners of Unimark. Also, Harsh is the president of Credai, chairman, president of Credai, and Credai, as we discussed in the morning, is the developers' leading organization where all India developers. So he's not only just West Bengal, he is all India. So it's sort of a big man, in the position that he has within his own business and within the community and the fraternity. We have seen the way this organization has done well within his leadership, and we have the privilege of chatting up with him. But honestly, I'm more excited with the man who's sitting on to his left. Kumar is someone who is the next generation. It was sort of my aspiration when I was growing up to go to a school called as Wharton. And it is one of the most prestigious. I tried several times and I was not admitted there. But he comes from that school called the Wharton School of Business, and someone who has done exceptionally well in his sort of tenure. But equally, I don't want to understand is that what does he look at from Indian real estate, and particularly sitting in Calcutta. But Harsh, I'm going to start with you. You have been in this business for over 30 years, and you've seen many cycles like this, on the Indian real estate. Some have been crazily boom with exceptional exuberance coming in from speculators, short-term investors, and some have been a little bit better. How do you see this time the cycle?
Good morning, everyone. So I've seen the real estate business actually evolving from a mom and pop store to a proper industry today. With all governance, transparency, regulation, etc. in place, signs of a very mature, getting into a bit of a mature kind of market, like any international market. I think, and the aspiration of our Indian customer, very tough Indian customer, I think we are delivering super quality, very good quality products, sustainable in all respects, and I think benchmark to everywhere in the world at prices which are probably the construction cost of many places in the world. Yes. But see what has happened, I've seen at least 3 to 4 cycles in my life where each cycle has been driven by different kind of things. See, the first cycle over boom was that the real estate development was generally happening around the CBD, SBD, etc. That was the start of the real estate business. And there was scarcity of land. So because of scarcity of land, the values went up. And people wanted to stay in a closely guarded location, let's say within 7-10 kilometers of the city. But then when social infrastructure, urban infrastructure started improving, connectivity started improving, the roads, metros, all kind of development, etc. happening all over the place because of the need of urbanization and the need requirement of housing. The availability of land suddenly increased. And the scale also, developer scale also increased. Like a developer, we were doing 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh square feet in a year, and then suddenly all of us want to do 5 lakh, that kind of a scale. So from that to that, during that time, we've seen a lot of economic cycles. Before that, 1996, the economy slowed down quite a bit. I remember I was doing a few projects, and one day I went home and told my wife, boss, हमको लगता है हम capital खा रहे हैं.
Really? And when was this?
It was somewhere around 96 to 98, 99 that time.
Look at it. These cycles have been seen earlier as well. 96, 98, 2008, and then
again, even before demonetization, the market started slowing down. I think in 2013-14.
Yes.
Not only demonetization.
Yes.
So the impact had started, but demonetization hit the last nail on the coffin. But that was such a major transformation for the real estate sector that a lot of people have still not been able to get over that. And the crisis started with a lot of over leveraging, a lot of money coming to the business to PE fund, etc. And even NBFC started funding.
Absolutely.
That. So I think that was a kind of a crisis or a bubble which was created more than the market. business, which was a mix of both external as well as developers' own doings.
Good point. Look at it. One was external, but a lot of it may have been developers' own doings. As Harsh said, is that the ability to be able to expand. You were doing say 500,000, 600,000, and suddenly you were now thinking that I'm going to do millions. And there is a difference to be able to scale up the organizations to that extent. So Harsh, but at this cycle, do you think is that the developers have understood the challenges that they faced in the last cycle?
Anuj, you see what happened. We've understood every damn thing possible. In terms of the impact of leveraging, the impact of regulation, the impact of transparency, the impact of governance, the impact of GST, see, whatever could have happened to transform the sector to a mature sector has happened in the last few years. I think going forward, we have to embrace all this and kind of reinvent ourselves to new avatar to be a successful developer. And we have to be transparent, strategic, not opportunistic. All of us big
Very good.
opportunistic.
And Harsh, but do you think that developers are, I mean, we will make mistakes like all of us, but do you think is that the developers would not make the same mistakes that they made earlier?
I would say most of the sensible developers would not. But then this entrepreneurs, they have kind of a instinct that they tend to take risks probably not assessed or whatever.
Well, I'm going to come to you. Boss, you're like a Wharton grad. You could do anything in the world. You could be a techie. You could have gone into different sorts of businesses. My two questions to you, and I know you're not prepared. One is, what brought you into real estate other than that? And second is, what brought you back to Calcutta?
Thank you, Anuj, and it's a pleasure for me to be here and in front of all of you. Thank you for giving us this opportunity.
And come on, just a quick representation. So these are the leaders who are sitting in here from various businesses, not only from residential. So we have retail, we have warehousing, industrial, we have our community management app, we have residential. We also got people who have come in from Bhubaneswar office. So these are the leaders who are here. So they well know who you are in this market. But no, please go ahead.
So I was in the US for about 6 years. I was doing undergrad and worked in business school for 4 years. And then I worked in an investment bank, JP Morgan, in New York for 2 years. Great time, a lot of fun, made great friends. But I think New York is an amazing place to be living when you're in your early 20s.
Yeah.
And I could have probably stayed on for a few more years easily. But I think the desire to do something on your own. So even in New York, as a banker, you're working close to 100-hour weeks on a regular basis.
What are you saying? 100 hours a week. 100-hour week, matlab ke from Monday to Sunday, 12 hours a day.
14 hours.
14 hours a day. 14 times 7, yeah. My God, that's also 96. 14 hours a day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday go again 14 hours a day.
So it was one of 100-hour week was not uncommon. So I had a great, but it was
Chalo, वो
something
सभी
that,
appraisal में देखेंगे. 100 hours a week. I mean that's physically.
physically demanding. But I think in your early 20s, the entire ecosystem is like that. You have others who are doing the same thing. So I think it's a different kind of adrenaline high that you get when working there with everything around you. But I think the desire to start and do something on my own and build it up and to be part of something that you create. I think that is what primarily had me coming back. In fact, before I came back to India, my dad actually wrote me a very long email. And he wanted to make sure that me coming back was not something that he, because of him, I'm coming back.
Okay, you were not predicated
so he
on.
sent me an email with all the pros and cons listed. And he said, you take your own decision. So whether rightfully or wrongfully I'm back, I cannot blame anyone.
That is interesting. And
Actually, I didn't caveat. Because otherwise,
I think what a great way to learn
No,
there.
because I tell you what, if I would not have done that, you would have come back on my call or whatever. Then those days problem हो. See, India में काम करना इतना आसान तो नहीं है.
No. But about
And I think it was a lot of unlearning for me, more than learning. I think you have to unlearn everything that I learned. That I think at JP Morgan, I think the minimum deal size in 2007, 2006-7 was maybe a couple of $1 billion. And here you were talking about,
couple of $1 billion वाला deal size मतलब 14,000 crore, 14,000 crore.
that was a small, like a $500 million deal was a small deal. Small deal. So I think unlearning the scale and the numbers and everything, I think that was a task in itself.
Was real estate something that you thought that you would get into, or it was by chance?
No, I think real estate was always. I think it's if you're anyone who's done a family business in India, you start working at the age of 10 maybe or 12. Because I think the majority of the discussion at home is all centered around business. You're doing meetings, you're doing calls at all odd hours of the day, and it was always a priority. So I think business and especially real estate was something which I sort of grew up with, and I think it was sort of in the DNA, and it was and honestly, I don't think real estate is a difficult business to understand in theory. You buy land, you get a contractor, architect to design it, you get a contractor to construct, and then you get a channel partner like Anarock to do strategic advisory and sell it for you. So in theory, you're almost like a chef putting some ingredients together, and it's fairly straightforward when you talk about it. And then when you actually do the process, and then you realize that what are the different kind of frustrations that you come across.
And Kumar, did you think that you would want to explore a city other than Calcutta when you decided to return?
So I think when I came back, I think I didn't really pick a market because I think the family business was well established here. But I think definitely the last 4-5 years I've been toying with the idea of getting into other markets. We've also recently picked up a land parcel in Bombay, Goregaon East, which you are aware. And we're looking at doing something, starting some sort of development over there. But definitely I think we are looking at various kinds of how we can change our business models in various ways. And definitely a new market in a different geography is something which is top of our priority list.
Ash, coming to you is...
And Anuj, on that, I remember we had met maybe 4, 5, 6 years ago. Before COVID. And I think you had said that, we'll be going to Bombay together and we'll be doing our first deal.
That's right.
So hopefully we can do a second deal together now that we've done our first.
This is fantastic. Coming to know is that somebody who had exposure in New York, in JP Morgan, having done the scale that Mark spoke about, to decide then to get back into real estate and then decide to come into Calcutta. Definitely, the business lineage and the attraction of a family business does help. But still, by choice, to have decided that I'm going to go back and get into real estate and get into Calcutta. In terms of Calcutta, what is your thought on the long-term growth of this city?
Anuj, Calcutta has been a stable market. We've seen the size of the market is not gone up very, very exponentially at all. The market size today, I would rate within 17,000-20,000 apartments a year, and which is growing at a very organic rate of probably a very Indian style of growth. The reason being, somehow the state has not been able to attract the knowledge-based industry. That's where if you look at growth of other cities, you look at Bangalore, Hyderabad, Noida, and even then coming to Bombay, the major growth has happened because of the creation of the middle class in the knowledge-based industry in the short term.
Very good. Yes.
So that somehow our part of this Calcutta has missed out so far. The government is making a lot of effort now to attract investment in both manufacturing, services as well as the IT industry. So we think that the availability of manpower, the cost of living, etc. is a favorable point. Infrastructure is quite good over here. So these are favorable points which points to good growth. So apart from this industry, there are other industries in the government is trying to attract. In terms of manufacturing, only TCBS, we see employees of a few lakh crores being signed up. Now, the other part is that we are seeing a new port, a deep sea port, which has been announced by the Qataris to happen this year. It will be very, very big game changer in terms of maybe the biggest port
finally infrastructure is coming in a big
Yes,
way.
yes,
in,
yes, yes, yes. And genuine infrastructure work is going on everywhere. But now coming to some of the challenges, I see there's a lot of reverse migration of young people from Calcutta to other places of the country.
Yeah.
Because
Certainly
job-
Bangalore we see a
Bangalore,
lot.
no, the job openings. I mean, that has to stop for this market to grow. And the second challenge which I personally foresee is not a great business working relationship between the state
State and the center.
This
Both
has
very
to-
good points.
This has to change for the city to kind of become vibrant once again.
Kumar, your thought on the Indian real estate 5 years from today?
I think that the Indian real estate already has got quite organized with all kinds of regulations coming in with RERA, making people accountable. You've had a lot of the developers across the country have faced difficulties right from the large ones starting with Unitech, JP, the list goes on.
Yes.
So I think and their case studies have also almost become like examples for other builders about what not to do. So I think if you talk to me about maybe 6-7 years ago, the time was that almost everyone wanted to become a real estate developer. And I think today no one wants to become a real estate developer. So I think there's a huge shift. I think earlier anyone with money, anyone with a land parcel was almost exploring the option of developing themselves. I don't think that's the case today. I think 5 years from now you're going to see the number of developers in each city further shrink. I think brand is going to become more and more important. You'll have a lot of the national players come into different markets. Some of them are coming to Calcutta, but I think in Bengal, because of urban land ceiling, I think they are protected to a large extent. I think with RERA coming in now also in Bengal and people, all the developers being much more accountable, I think there's going to be a lot more transparency, which is ultimately augurs well for the industry because people feel more comfortable to invest.
Yes.
So I think a few bad apples spoil the entire
And yes,
scenario for everyone.
your thought is that there is more consolidation that is yet to come.
So I think more consolidation, yes, and I think also there is going to be a lot of developers tying up with each other for their own stuck land parcels.
Sorry.
So there definitely will be much more consolidation. I think only serious players will be left here. I think the industry will be more professional. People
Yes.
will. I don't think it today makes sense for any developer to do 1 or 2 projects. I mean, your infrastructure and your team requirements will not suffice or will not justify the investment. So I think it will become a game for the bigger boys, and naturally it will have some consolidation.
Kumar, we're seeing across India that there aren't many people of your generation who are coming in. Even those whose ancestors have been in the real estate, they're deciding not to come in, and just like that, many years ago wrote you an email. Their dad also saying is that if you don't, that's okay. Are you seeing a similar trend in Calcutta?
So I think if you ask me about the current business model, I don't think the risks justify the rewards. So I think it's lopsided.
Big point.
For any developer, the kind of risks and the investments that they are taking on, I don't think the margins are there to support any rational business person to come into the sector. I think only those people who are passionate about real estate, about buildings, about creating landmarks, I think they are the only younger generation members who are going to get into it.
It's important for all of you to understand. Look, Kumar is not sitting on a public dais that he's going to make this statement. Look at it. He's saying from his heart, guys, there is not enough money left only in this. The risk that is there, the effort that is there, the reward is just not commensurate. Which means at some stage he will say either I'm going to shut down or I will have to increase the price. Because at this price it is just not making sense for and this is not only him, several guys are saying it. Samrat, you and the team will need to understand and appreciate this, that there is frustration that if the prices don't continue to go up, there is not enough meat, there is not enough juice left into this, as a result of which either we will see further consolidation on the supply, which only means is that the price will go up even more, or that we will have to make sure that we understand and appreciate that what the developer is really not making money. He is not pretending. Again, I'm thinking, if Kumar was sitting on a public platform, you could have said, oh, he's saying it for the public, for the press. He's not, there's no press, there's nothing in there. He's just talking to the leaders. He's saying, but yeah, hey, mere paas iske andar to do it. So I think we will have to really appreciate and understand that if there is not going to be enough reward for the pain, for the effort, for the risk that they are taking, then it will not happen.
Anuj, I want to elaborate on this point. In fact, I just told Govindu and I was saying, this is Anuj, a business model. You see, let's understand where we stand. Today, if you look at the balance sheet of any developer, cost of goods sold, pure cost of goods sold is close to 70% of the product price.
70% of the product price is land and cost of construction.
Yeah, that is COGS, the cost of goods sold. Now, with this 70% cost of goods sold in a cycle of 5-7 years for a project, it doesn't really make sense for us to be in the business. Because if you look at the balance sheet of any other company, the COGS will be around 26%. And the cycle is only 120 days from raw material to finished goods sale and realization of price. So this is the biggest dilemma which I am facing within myself, that whether I am doing the right thing or not.
Interesting, huh? That what Mr. Harsh Patodia is saying is that look at it, the cost of sale, goods sold, and it's the first time I am hearing this, that it's 70%. Only 30% is everything else, which means the interest cost, the financing cost, the marketing cost, the brokerage,
Our profit.
their profit, which will be whatever is left into that is. And that is also assuming that everything goes as per plan.
So I will tell you the model which we are working on was based on us.
And by 5-6 years, you don't know what can happen.
No, I'll tell you why we are facing this problem. Earlier there was speculative market. The real estate prices were increasing every year 5%, 10%, 12%. So that was keeping this model alive. We were giving X percent to the owner.
Yes.
Now we are wholly running. So when that is not happening, it's become an industry. We cannot just increase price on a speculative basis. So then we have to look at it as an industry. How do we kind of justify being in business? How do we justify our organization? How do we justify our team? How do we justify our own return on capital?
Yes.
So another dilemma I tell you, which is there. Now let's take a typical project. So what will happen is that in a typical project, over the life cycle of the project, we'll have let's say 10% payment from the day on the day of completion. Yeah, on the registration. 10% inventory is left in the project by the end of the project. Most I'm talking about average. And 8 to 10% delinquencies are there. Of customer not paying, some cancellation, something. All this has been my experience for the last 20-25 years. So as a developer, if my cost of goods sold is 70% and 30% of my money is not being realized, which comes at the back end of the project, then how do I recapitalize? How do I do new business? And I am working on negative cash flow from day one. My banker wants to get out of the project within 3-4 years of lending. So where is the money? Where is the model?
No, I was going to say the same thing, that the bankers, they charge you 1.5 times the interest. If they are lending at 7% to any other sector, they charge you 11%. Second is that you need to keep servicing the interest from cash flows from sales. And third is that they want to start repayments in 2 years before the project is complete. So in terms of on paper the business model is not there.
But yet, Kumar, if you look at, if you were to ask the man on the street, he'll say the richest person is the developer.
So I tell you why, because they can understand how much money the developer can make.
But he's not making.
No, he's not making. But what he feels is that land price is X, construction cost is Y, and this is what he's selling to me at.
And it is very true, Kumar, because otherwise
But they don't understand the overhead, the finance cost, the approval process.
Otherwise the consolidation wouldn't have happened to this extent.
So I think we have to, as an industry, like I've been propagating this in our the entire business model needs to be relooked at. Right? What is this business all about?
Correct.
And you see, one more thing is that I'm giving another perspective of maybe something new is going to come out of it. What is the legacy which I'm leaving to Kumar? It's what is my valuation of my company? What is the enterprise valuation of my company? It is only net present value or the liquidation value of my land.
Of the projects
So
of
what
land.
have I done for 20 years? What legacy I have left? So whatever I have created has got no value.
Which in no other business is.
Yeah, so if I do 300 biryani shops, I'll get a valuation of 500 crores.
It is not the value of the biryani in the shop.
No, it is
That
the-
is
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So here they're getting the value of the biryani in the
only
shop.
the biryani.
Yeah,
Only the
so
biryani.
I tell you, I've been rethinking all this while that how do I create a sustainable real estate business going forward. Whatever has happened, has happened.
Kumar, what's your thought on other asset classes beyond residential, retail, warehousing, industrial?
So I'm quite bullish on both industrial and retail. I think with retail, I think we've seen the worst of the pandemic, through the pandemic. I think there's not enough retail supply. There's not enough, I don't think, except a few markets, I don't think any new malls, people are picking up any new malls.
Absolutely.
There is shortage of quality retail space in the city. Just this morning, I had a retailer who called me up and he said, I require 30,000 square feet of retail space in the city. You're the first person I'm calling, can you give it to me? I said, I don't have.
I don't have. What about warehousing industrial?
I think industrial warehousing, I think, looks good. I think within industrial, with the Make in India campaign and I think everything that's going wrong with China, I think there's a lot of manufacturing which is shifting and shifted to India. So I think industrial demand is likely to be strong. I think going forward, I think the domestic market is also strong and there's a lot of demand for indigenously produced goods. So I think industrial looks good. I think long term. I think warehousing is also a good sector to get into. I think. So I don't think that warehousing rents are going to continue to increase. I think it's increased from we used to discuss maybe 5-6 years ago. We used to discuss 12 rupees warehouse rent. Today we are at 24.
24 now.
Now it's close to 30.
In certain cases on specialty warehousing, grade A is close to 30. So I don't think I think we've sort of topped out on the rents for the time being. I think warehousing supply is difficult to get. Just to give you an example of if you suppose there's a 10-acre land, we are looking at a project of 15 lakh square feet on a 10-acre land parcel or 14 lakh square feet. Residential.
Okay.
In a warehousing project where you're only doing ground floor warehouses, you're on a 10-acre land, you're looking at a 2 lakh square feet.
That's right. Yes.
So I mean for the same amount of land, long-term demand, I think warehousing looks good, e-commerce looks good, 3PL services looks good, just in time. I think most of the people are keeping larger stocks to meet demand. So I think all of those things augur well for the industry.
Last two questions to you, Harsh, and then two questions to you, Kumar, before we open it up for the floor. We heard Harsh Kumar says that it was by choice he decided to get into real estate. For you, was it the same?
It was the same only. Right? See, our family was in the automobile distribution business. We were one of the largest in the country at that point in time. When I started my college and joined my business. But when I was there for a few months, I did not find the business challenging or kind of
looking back at life, what advice would you give to your younger self?
I would like to definitely reassess the risk analysis which I would have done on many decisions which I took.
Beautifully said.
Especially in today's world of regulation and governance, I think this has become more important. See, पहले क्या था, we thought ये करा लेंगे, वो करा लेंगे, manage कर लेंगे, हो जाएगा, कर लेंगे, but now I don't think it's possible.
Yeah, that's right.
And the way the government is working on transparency or accountability in terms of social, so that is a big thing which we have to think about. And as a group, we have not done anything which is legally illegal. But I think those days were still possible for us to
For you to be able to be in a little bit of a grey or at times.
yeah, so we could get around. But I think today's world we cannot. We just cannot. So I don't think we should cannot even look into that area. So I think risk analysis would be a different. I would have done a different risk analysis of everything which I have done.
Come on, my final two things is how is it working with your dad?
So it's, I think it's like, it's very interesting. There are good days and there are bad days. And so I think, you learn a lot.
That's true.
You have different styles. I think especially when it comes to dealing with people. I think I have much less patience. I think he's much more patient. So it's been a very interesting journey. I've definitely learned a lot, and I look forward to the next few years as well.
I would ask you, perhaps two more before I open. One is, I know you're young, but I wasn't going to ask Harsh this, but I do want to ask you, what's the hardest decision that you've made till now?
I think hardest decision probably from a personal perspective is to deciding to come back to India.
Good point, which I agree with.
So I was
and that's fortunately it was your decision. It wasn't a decision that was imposed on you. And by the way, many years ago it happened the same with me as well. And I decided to come back, but it was my decision. And exactly what Harsh has said is that it wasn't the family pressure. Because I can tell you is that it was very, very tough at the times that when we came back. You would have come back how many years ago? 2008. So that's about 14 years ago. India was just coming up. I came back even much longer. But if that decision wasn't yours, then it would have really, really pained you. Who is your? Oh, okay. Let me rephrase it. We have so many young people who are sitting in here. What would be advice to the young real estate professionals who are sitting in here?
So I think my advice, to all the young real estate professionals to make it big is that you should take risks. You should network as much as you can.
Yeah, risks, network.
You should invest in friendships. You should be ethical. You should think long term. You should not be afraid to ask for help. You should keep upgrading your skill set. Especially in real estate, you should be ready to rough through the ups and downs.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
So I'm just reading this comment that the real estate business is easy. It's like juggling cats while riding a unicycle on a high wire over shark-infested waters.
So it is juggling cans on a cycle with one wheel on a high wire above water which is infested with sharks. That is what real estate is. And it is true. I think those are pearls of wisdom. What you have given, you ran it through quickly. Yeah, if you don't mind, can you say it again? Because I want people to understand each one of them is very powerful.
You should not be afraid of taking risks. You should network as much as you can.
Network, risks, friendship.
Invest in friendships. You should always be ethical. You don't know what will come around to bite you later. You should always think long term. You should not be afraid to ask for help. Keep upgrading your skill set and be ready to rough through the ups and downs.
Ah, beautiful, beautiful.
I think all of us need to kind of control our greed. What happens in real estate professional? We get very greedy at
we are undertaking, when you are undertaking a premium residential project, the margins are high. What's your view on premium residential development in the city? So when you see the couple of just a couple of months, the last couple of months, it was not there otherwise. We have seen lot many premium development in and around this vicinity only.
So Nanda, I'd like to answer this question in a different way. See, what is premium? How do we look at premium? I think we look at luxury. No, see, luxury definition is very different to what we look at. Actually, luxury definition today in the city is probably location. True. Yeah, but that is, in my eyes, that's not the idea of luxury. Luxury is in the experience, luxury is in the detailing, luxury is in the kind of wow factor, the feel. That is why what we go to a 5-star hotel, what is the difference between a 5-star and 2-star, 3-star hotel? Built infrastructure is not okay. Location definitely plays a part, like everywhere in the world, people ask you questions, where do you live?
That's right. Yes.
So that definitely plays a very important part. But generally what happens, every city in India, the supply of land in the best location is coming down. It's not very easily available. That's now at a very high premium. So it doesn't really make sense for me as a developer to go and buy that land and develop that project unless I do a kind of asset-light model business. So supply is coming down. It's finite. It's not infinite. In the non-luxury sector, because of infrastructure development, land availability different micro market is still there. So that is one big part. Secondly, I think the concept of luxury in India is very different than the concept of luxury everywhere else in the world. Why would you buy a Louis Vuitton bag or a Hermes bag or why? That is the kind of experience which you want to have. And that is the aspirational experience. For luxury the customer is becoming more and more demanding. So we have to understand the psyche of the customer. Today we have to even think that whether dog will shit and whether cat will piss. That is the kind of expectation the customer will actually have.
The next question is, we have opened an office in Bhubaneswar and we are expecting some good numbers from this year itself. So, what's your take on Odisha market and surely Allied National President? And the second question.
I'm not there, but
you're aware of it.
I think the Odisha market is going to go very, very big. Because a lot of investment is going to happen. The state is very rich in minerals and some of the commitments which I've seen, the port is doing very well there. Secondly, the mineral-based industries are coming in a very, very big way. There is huge industrial investment of Arcelor coming there, Isar coming there, Vedanta coming there. I think we're going to see some very, very huge investment happening in Bhubaneswar in terms of manufacturing. Also, I think the government is taking very, very good steps in attracting the knowledge-based industry over there. So that's creating a big mass. I think a lot of people are going to Bhubaneswar or knowledge-based industry rather than coming to Calcutta because of whatever legacy perception or whatever issues they have. But still, Bhubaneswar is still favored destination.
That's right. Similar thoughts.
Yeah, and honestly, not an expert on the Bhubaneswar
Bhubaneswar
market, I would not want to
market.
raise an answer.
I interacted with the chief secretary and many people. There was a lot of interaction we had.
Sir, I have a question. You said the prices are going to increase. So otherwise it is not possible for the developer to sustain. So do you think the market condition Calcutta is they will be able to accept, I mean the buyers will be able to accept that price tag? Because right now also people when they're selling at current negotiations, so they're lowering down the price. So increasing the price, do you think will be able to solve it or is there any other solution you are thinking?
So Samrat, I think pricing is a function of demand and supply. So no one developer can decide that I'm going to sell at X price when the market price is Y.
Yes.
He may do it for a boutique product, he may do it for one project, but it's not going to translate into the market price. Second, we have a lot of consolidation which is happening in the industry, which has already happened in the last 4, 5, 6 years, and further consolidation is going to happen. So before you know it, supply may be reduced, people may be willing to pay for a brand, land prices may get renegotiated, deal structures may get renegotiated. So I think price rise is probably one part of the entire real estate puzzle, which is sort of reflected when you are selling. But I think there's a whole entire ecosystem behind the pricing, behind the product being delivered to the customer, which is going to change not just the pricing.
I would like to add something. You see, we have to understand the product and the lifestyle which we are providing. Today, see, in a condominium, we are providing what? The lifestyle, we are providing the community. And the nuclear family, this is one of, and post-COVID, this is become very, very important. Ultimately, what has happened because of influence of the family, the connect, the immediate, the first level of help or connect or whatever you find is in the community in a condo. That's your,
Yes.
that becomes
Yeah.
your ecosystem.
Yeah.
So,
That becomes your family.
so that also has to be priced in.
Also, I think you are spending so much more time at home. So with OTT, your visits to the cinemas has gone down. With work from home, your trips to the airport, to the office has gone down. So I think, and suddenly you feel that you need larger spaces, you need more space. So I think that is also going to reflect in the demand for the home going forward. I think maybe pre-COVID we were discussing that the millennials and the younger generation may not be interested in owning a home.
But it
I
has
think
come
that's
out untrue.
that is at least in our thought that has been a paradigm shift that that's no longer people believe that to be the case.
I think.
I have a question for Kumar. Actually, all the questions have been moving around one sector of real estate, and you said you're bullish about two more sectors of real estate. So, do you have a future? Do you see anything coming up in future for you in terms of those two
Retail and warehousing.
Retail and industrial.
So I think as far as warehousing is concerned, we are we have been and we are looking at and scouting for land where we can do warehousing. To start with for our proprietary portfolio, and then maybe going forward we can look at a larger scale development. As far as retail is concerned, I think the retail business and the retail model. If you talk about making malls, I think that it's a game for big pockets. So unless you have a fund, like CBAPI, you have the Blackstone, the side of Anarock, unless you have those kind of funds backing you for the long term, it's very difficult for any developer to independently develop.
I agree. So, see, each fund also back people when this foresee a project coming up. So you propose a project to them and they back you up with that if they see a potential in that. So do we have something in the planning or in the
So Rishi, I think, these funds have maybe backed, maybe as far as the retail investments is concerned, I think they have backed maybe 4 or 5 developers across the country.
Yes.
I don't think it's across the board that funds are coming together and saying that you are developing one more, let's do one with you. I think
Unlike residential where they're okay to do it, in retail they're not okay.
and retail business also, it is not only that you build a mall, you have to run it, you have to lease it, you have to make sure that the mix is good. So it's not a passive business that anyone can get into. In fact, we own a mall, Star Mall in Madhyapura, and what we had thought is that this we would probably look at making a portfolio of malls. But I think after this one experience, I think it's not as simple as people make it out to be. I think the gestation is a lot. I mean, it takes 3, 4, 5 years to build a mall and get it occupied, and then it takes another 3, 4, 5 years to get established it. So I think these are things that you learn after you experience it. So I think it's a game. It's a more of a specialized sector which is not for anybody and everybody to just come up with a mall. I think you have to have a significant focus on the business if you want to do it at a larger scale.
Thank you very much, Kumar. Thanks, Harsh. Very kind of you. Big round of applause, guys. It's a small token of appreciation.
We really enjoyed doing this.
Thank you so much, Anuj, for having us here.